Hey guys, it's Out here. And yes, this is a third bard character. Please don't judge me. This is basically just my testing character or my for fun character. So if I want to try playing with the drums or if I want to try reposting with the flute, I get on this one because I don't really have a lot of investment time onto him and I don't necessarily care if I die on him. If I want to try playing with drums, or in this case, the new maps, I will play this character. And I actually have 3 solo crypts free here. This is my first time playing in these. So in the first game, I'm actually just trying to look around and see how many different people we run into. Also looking to see if any of the modules look different. Are there less mobs? Is there less loot? Things like that. After that, the next 2 games are probably how I'm going to be playing this specific map based off of how the first game goes. So there's the brief summary. Hope you all enjoy. And one thing that I did notice right off the start here is directly in front of where the spawn is, there's usually one skeletal mage. I don't see him. So maybe they took the skeletal mages out of the library, or maybe this was just sort of a lucky run. I don't know. But I am used to seeing a skeletal mage there. Right there, I should have just crouched and walked forward left, but for some reason I was thinking I had enough movement speed to just back up from it, but I didn't space it right, so I took damage. I should have just fought the mob the right way. So right here we killed 2 mobs and we do hear someone right there. That means that the spawns are pretty close to each other. So on this map, there's probably going to be a lot of early fights. And if you win those early fights, you might make some space for yourself. So right here, I am thinking that we should take early fights and then try to loot up some in the future. Just because then we'll have more room to deal with other people instead of getting collapsed on from both sides, or maybe even 3 sides. I don't know how close the spawns are, but this seems really close. And I played that fight horribly. I don't think I landed any shots with the survival bow, but I was able to hit Shriek Weakness. With that, since he's only wearing pants and a shield, he's probably above 0% PDR, but it's not by much. I was able to land 2 headshots with the falchion and take him out. So we campfired, we drank a health pot, we're gonna get up to full health. I'm gonna keep clearing toward the center. I do hear someone to my left, and so I'm just gonna make sure he's not gonna come up behind me. He's in that little center room, if you could see on the minimap right now, so I actually went the wrong way. I should have went through the cage right there and just used the lever, but I was wanting to make sure that he wasn't actually like behind me, which he wasn't. And right here, I noticed that the pyramid room isn't looted at all. I know for sure there's one person to my left. I don't know where everyone else is, and I'm assuming there's still a decent amount of players here. So I don't just want to run in here and kill all of the bats. So I'm sort of just waiting to see what happens. I actually pulled 2 of them, which is fine. 2 bats are easy to deal with. And then I'm just sort of sitting here waiting to see what happens. And now I do see a Hydra. So there's one person to my left, assuming he's still there. And there's a Warlock across from me. So I'm actually going to take this opportunity to go toward the Octopus room to my right and see if I can flank around on him. Unluckily, this mob hadn't spawned yet, so he probably hears me fighting this. He knows that I'm here, assuming that he's not just full casting all of his spells. So this sort of ruined the plan, but we're still gonna kind of go with it anyway. I should have had my bow ready around that quarter, but I didn't. So he spawns a Hydra and he starts to life drain off of it. So he's going to be full health. And if I push out, I might take Hydra damage. I decide to go back. There is a plate fighter heading my way. I try to shut the door. I fail. I get hit by a longbow. And then I run back out into the octopus room. I'm sort of trying to lure them into fighting each other and hopefully get a third party in. I never see them fight each other, so I just leave. And here is where this game gets a whole lot more hectic. I see that the escape tunnel's open, but I've barely looted this game. I don't have anything. I don't necessarily want to leave yet. That door breaks open from the Hydra, so I decide to run sort of toward the escape tunnel, but go behind it, and I run into a ranger. I do block him off, and I hit him once with the falchion, and then I decide to chase him instead of just staying here in front of the tunnel. I wanted to kill him, loot him real quick, and get out since there were so many players here, but I wasn't able to do that, and he leaves because I made a mistake of chasing him instead of staying here. So now I'm here with 2 plate fighters, and maybe a warlock, unless one of them killed him. I don't know at this point, but I do know there's at least 2 plate fighters, and I have a whole trail of mobs on me. So right here, I'm deciding to go into the boss room. I just want to create distance because I know I can't kill the plate fighters. I'm very barely geared. And when I run through the door, sadly the archer breaks the door, so I'm just trying to open the next one to get out. I get hit by the crossbow from the fighter, and I also get hit by the skelly champ. I try to run through, and the spearman finishes me. So based off of that game, my thought process is if you want to go toward the center of crypts, great. Just know it's going to be really hectic, and if you're not the greatest player or if you're not geared the best, it's going to be very hard. So from here on out, I'm deciding that I want to stay on the outskirts of the map or the outskirts of the circle and do what I can to kill 1 or 2 players a game, get looted up, and get out. So right here, I changed my perk to Rapier Mastery from Superior Dexterity since I'm going in fully base kit, and we're going to see how it works out. Right there, we get a really nice drum with +5 physical power. I also have reinforced instruments on, so that's going to hit pretty hard. I also picked up some arrows just in case I get a survival bow at some point. I'm not really planning on it, but it's a hope. Right there, I was planning to swap from the rapier to the arming sword, but then I remembered, oh wait, I put Rapier Mastery on. The rapier's probably still actually a little bit stronger at this point. When I came into this room, I noticed that it was looted, so I just picked up the sellable real quick, and I did a quick look around. It really wasn't the best. Decided that the other player wasn't here, and ran to the west, assuming that's where he went. The mob spawned 2 mummies, so he didn't actually go that way, so he's still somewhere in this room. He's probably, I assumed he was underwater. But when I turned around and sort of ran back to where I came from to deal with the mobs, I saw where he was, and it was a naked barbarian. By the time I finished killing these mobs, he was fighting another one, and then I was able to go and fight him then. This poor guy had probably taken some damage already, so he just got one bonked by the drum. Honestly, rip him, because that was a very easy fight, and he had heals. He could have healed, but he didn't. Being completely honest here, I'm not the most familiar with this specific module on the map, and so I did see that there was an escape tunnel, and I was honestly trying to figure out where it was. If you could let me know, that would be great, just for the information, but I honestly couldn't figure it out and just went to a different one. So right here we have an escape. I'm basically just deciding that I'm going to clear this room. If someone runs in, that sucks. If not, I'm going to grab the lion's head and head out. But I just want to clear the room a little bit first. This was the first time I'd seen these pants. I had, at a quick glance, just assumed they were cloth pants, and then realized that they weren't, and that they have -10 move speed. So instead of using them, I just took them off because I don't want that much negative move speed for not really much benefit. We did get Vigor pants, which have -6 move speed, and they also had some added PDR on them, which is great, so I just put those on. And for those that don't know, there is a lion's head or golden chest on top of this little platform here. And there's a pressure plate here. You just need to throw a torch on it, throw a drum on it, throw something on it that'll stay there. And then you take the little elevator up. All right, and after all that looting, we're done for this game, and we're just going to go sell some things. I actually buy a new rapier that gives me +3 physical power. It was only 100 gold. And I bought a crossbow and another drum, and I'm planning to just do crossbow into drums for my fights. And yeah, we're gonna go into the next one. Here I was just checking my gear and realized that one of my rings actually only gave will and didn't really give much other stats that were good for me, so I just decided to sell that too. Was also just triple checking that I had reinforced instruments. I should have also changed my songs here because I got more knowledge after that last game. I didn't though, so I'm just going in with tranquility when I have heals, which is kind of feels bad, but it's fine. So in this spawn, I decided that I was just going to pull all the mummies at once. If I do that, they have chances of hitting each other and doing damage, which makes it easier for me, and I could also just hit multiple mobs at the same time. I figured clearing this room as fast as possible was probably the best way to have space, and so that's what I did. Right here I had the choice between 1 strength and 2 magical healing for 1 ring, or this one that gives 2 will, 2.5% PDB, and 6% armor pen, so I decided to go with this one. And here we get a glorified Regal Gambison. I'm very torn here because I like the stats, +3 mem cap, +3 physical power. If I decide to run in darkness, that also increases the damage for that with the +5 magical power. But it's -15 move speed. I eventually decide to put it on because the other stats are so good. And it's giving me a decent amount of PDR, but I am just worried that I'll be so slow that I can't kite anyone. And I'll just die, especially since I don't have Accelerando or any other move speed stats other than Rousing Rhythms and Beats of Alacrity, which don't really give the most. But right now we do have a lot of strength, we have a lot of vigor, we have some resourcefulness, we have some dexterity. We are definitely battle bard, and so I'm just going to try to play around that and hope that it works out. So right there, I did see a skeletal axeman, and I'm not sure if he was walking to another player or if he's just spawned there, but that does mean that someone was here. and I want to be a little bit careful about how I go about this. So I'm actually going to go around the other way and see if I run into a different player there, because I don't want to be fighting someone and have an Axeman on me at the same time. That just seems like it's a good way to die. This was also cleared, so part of me's thinking that the skeletal Axeman was aggroed by the same person who came this way, since that little tunnel's open and the Axeman can't follow him through that. So there we saw a fighter, and I had a horrible crossbow shot. I'm just going to rebuff real quick since he looked like he backed up too, and then I'm going to go in after him. There's also a rogue there, and I don't know where the fighter went. I decide to be really aggressive here, and I actually shoot the rogue. While I'm reloading, the fighter comes up from the stairs right next to me and starts to smack me. Luckily, since I have the glorified Regal Gambeson on, I don't really take the most damage. I'm able to kite back by putting my crossbow away, and then we're just going to throw drums. I only hit the one, but it is the one that has +5 physical power, and he did have Shriek of Weakness on him, so it does a decent amount of damage. I missed the second drum, the third one gets blocked, so we have to finish this in melee. We lived with 1 health, and if you noticed, I actually hit him through his shield. One thing that's really kind of broken about the rapier is if you're close enough, it goes through the shield. So I just kind of jumped at him and I swung anyway, so I got a free hit. I only did that because he was blocking a good amount, so I assumed he would when I did that too, and that actually won me the fight. And I'm not going to say I played that perfectly because I won with 1 health, and I should have just assumed he was underneath me and not shot at the rogue. But it worked out because I found a bunch of random really good gear, and we're okay with it. As per usual, my looting was really dumb there. I didn't realize that one of those chalices was purple. I should have just kept that instead of grabbing these boots that weren't really the best for us anyway. And right now in my mind, all I'm thinking about is that there's a rogue here. He could be stealthed anywhere, he could have left. I don't really know what happened because I kited so far back fighting the fighter. Because of that, I'm going to just keep using Shriek of Weakness. I don't have anything to unstealth him, but if he shrieked, then he's missing armor and he's missing physical power. So hopefully I'll be able to win the fight. I don't actually ever run into him though, so I'm just running around playing Shriek of Weakness like a weirdo. And here I just decided to clear around this room, again to create space, but also because there's power shrines around the entirety of it, and they give decent buffs. They're not as great as they used to be, but I still want to have them so other people can't have them. And right here we have a portal spawn. We're pretty full on loot, so I'm just gonna clear these mummies, see if they have anything good for me, and then I'm gonna head on out. So in the next few days, I'm hoping to also try out Ruins solo, and I'm also trying to get into Hell on Crypts, just to see if it's a little bit easier, or if it's the same, or what's going on with all that. So I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope it helps out all the bard mains who kept running into the center of the map and getting surrounded by multiple players, if that was happening to you too. After this, we're just going to see all of our loot that we got from this game. I'm also going to change my spells around, and I'm going to add that onto here too, so you'd see what I'd run for the next game. Hope you all have a great day, and again, peace.